Hey guys, it's Nicole and I'm back, and today I'm going to make the killer baked macaroni and cheese that you guys saw that I had the ingredients for in my Aldi grocery haul and meal planning video. It was requested on Instagram, and guess what? I'm going to bring it to you now. Stay tuned. Okay, so first off, here are the ingredients. 1 pound of macaroni. I'm doing 1.5 pounds today because I really want to fill a big pan because I have a few people coming over. 3 cups of sharp cheddar, 1 cup of Colby Jack, 2 cups of mild cheddar, 12 ounces of Velveeta, 1.5 cup of or 1 stick of butter, 1.5 cups of whole milk, 2.5 cups of half and half, 1.5 teaspoons of paprika, 1.5 teaspoon of kosher salt, 1 teaspoon of black pepper, Old Bay seasoning to taste, and 3 eggs beaten. Okay, so here are all your ingredients laid out. Now, disclaimer: this is an adapted recipe from Cooking with Carolyn. Cooking with Carolyn on YouTube has phenomenal Southern side recipes, so definitely check her out. I'm going to put her channel name down below. I change it up because I kind of give or take. Sometimes I take a little bit of the cheese out, or I add more pasta noodles because her recipe is super thick and rich, and I kind of like to dilute mine down a little bit. So just a disclaimer, this isn't not my original recipe. This is something I found I love, but I adapted it to my family's taste and needs and preferences. Okay, so what she recommends is that you leave your half and half and your whole milk out at room temperature. So I'm gonna go ahead and pour out my half and half and my measurement of whole milk and leave it out room temperature, and I'm gonna go ahead and melt my 1 stick of butter, and I'm going to combine all of those wet ingredients. Make sure you preheat your oven at 350 degrees before you begin. The first thing I did was cook my 1.5 cups of noodles. I did Celentani noodles, so they're like the spiral-like ones, just to jazz it up this time, but you can use regular macaroni noodles. And what I did is I pretty much put it in a pot and covered it and made sure the water just covers it. I don't have exact measurements for how much water. Just make sure it's totally submerged. And I cooked this 1.5 pounds of Celentani spiral macaroni for 11 minutes exactly, because I wanted to make sure that it's not overcooked and that it was al dente. So now I'm getting ready to drain it. Now in the water, as you're boiling it, make sure you put your 1.5 teaspoons of your all natural sea salt in the water so that the noodles are nicely flavored. I went ahead and drained my 1.5 cups of macaroni noodles, and I go ahead and I kind of just pour a little hot water on it, cold water, sorry, to make sure that you stop the cooking process, because you really don't want this thing to be overcooked, because you still want your noodles to be the right texture even after it bakes in the oven, after all the cheese and stuff are added. So I have melted my 1 stick of butter in the microwave, and I have set aside my 2.5 cups of half and half and my 1.5 cups of whole milk so that they can sit and get just warm up to room temperature. And while I'm waiting on that to happen, I'm gonna go ahead and cut up my Velveeta. I use everything from Aldi. So I use the Clancy's cheese melt. So I'm gonna use about 1/3 of this block. And what I'm going to do is I'm gonna chop it up into small cubes. Okay, and it's all diced up, and now I'm going to start combining my ingredients. So in a large bowl, you can combine your butter, your milk, your milks, your half and half, your cheese, the cheeses, your Old Bay seasoning, and some black pepper. Again, the seasonings are to your liking and to your taste. So I figure you start with less is more, and then after you make it, again, another time you add more or less depending. But I put a few healthy shakes so that you can actually see it in the mixture here. So just go ahead and just combine all of that. And after this is nicely combined, you're going to go ahead and add your 3 beaten eggs to this mixture. So I've just added my 3 beaten eggs, and I'm combining it all nicely, stirring it. And after you've added the beaten eggs, then you're going to go ahead and combine the macaroni with this mixture. Okay, so now everything is in here. I actually added another half a cup of whole milk and another half a cup of half and half because I have more pasta than the original recipe. So you just want it to kind of be mostly submerged in the liquid, and the top is going to be a little bit crispy. So you don't want the top to be totally covered in fluid. And then what you're going to do is you're going to add a little bit more of the mild cheddar to the top to make a nice little crust. And what I like to do is to sprinkle a little extra Old Bay seasoning on top of that. So I'll show you in a minute. In the oven uncovered for about 50 minutes to 1 hour on 350 degrees, middle rack. There you have it, folks. The most delectable baked macaroni and cheese you have ever tasted. I'm gonna go ahead and scoop some out so that you can see the gooey cheesiness and the awesomeness right before your eyes.
Creamy, cheesy deliciousness.